guys about ready? One last announcement. One last announcement. If anybody wants to speak before the city council, I need you to sign up. Going once, going twice.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Midwest City Council. This evening we've got a full house. I'm fixing to clear the house. Items 4, 5, and 6 of the discussion agenda have been tabled due to illness in several of the people that were involved in that. And it will come back to us next council meeting. And so that's when these will be heard. All the ones, everybody that signed up on the 17th Street issue, that's the items that's going to be affected, and also the Glen Haven issue. So if you don't, if you got something better to do, those items will not be heard tonight. It will be heard on September's agenda. With that being said, I'll call it. Yes, sir. Well, did you sign the petition? Yes. Then your objection is well noted. Okay. I will tell you, as it stands right now, it's going to require a supermajority of the council to approve it with the number of signatures that we have. So that's kind of where we're at. Ma'am, I don't know. I'd have to defer to the city attorney.
No,
we're kind of getting out of order here, and we're talking about stuff that we shouldn't be talking about. You can go reach us offline, and I can explain that to you. Oh, absolutely. If you don't have anything else to do, you're welcome to stay. So with that being said, I'm calling the meeting to order. I would ask Ryan Rushing to come forward and offer the invocation.
Can I ask a question? Will you all be sending out notices when the next meeting is and the time?
It's on our website, ma'am.
It's on the website?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a question.
Sir, we're really getting out of order. What can I help you with?
My hand was up.
Okay, what can I help you with?
I live at 8820 Northeast 17.
Yes, sir.
Since 1980, 10 times it's flooded that area, my house.
Okay, reach out to. We got your address. We'll reach out to you.
So you're going to fix the call? Excuse me?
September 24th.
Okay.
Once again, I call the meeting to order. Ask Mr. Rushing to come forward and offer the invocation. Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Thank you. Father God, we just thank you today, Lord, that we can be here in Midwest City, Lord, and worship you freely, Lord. And we pray, Father God, that you would give these councilmen and women wisdom, guidance, and discernment, Lord, just to make the best decisions for this city, Lord. Father God, we're so thankful to live in a free country, Lord. We're thankful for all of our first responders and all of our military to help ensure those freedoms, Lord. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Follow me with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, got off to a rough start, but we'll recover. And we'll move into community-related announcements. Mr. Lyon.
Thanks, Mayor. Let's start with the Martin Luther King Prayer Breakfast. Save the date is January 20th of 2025. That's going to be right around the corner at 7:30 a.m. at the Reed Center in Midwest City. January 20th. Please put it on your calendar. And as we get more information on the event, we'll have more announcements. Huh? Martin Luther King prayer breakfast, prayer lunch. All right. Okay, next is our community garage sale, which we're going to just take a second. You can see who's running the show. Donna, back.
Just so, yes, our community garage sale is September 27th, 28th, and 29th.
27th through the 29th. Did you
Right.
say 25th?
No, I
27th.
accidentally started that way, but said
Okay.
27th, 28th,
All right.
and 29th.
All right.
Each day it'll start at 7 a.m. and it can end by 5 p.m. On our webpage, if you go to the top banner, there's something that says Citywide Garage Sale. If you click on it, you get to this page right here. What you see here are the policies for the garage sale. Big things to know is you can make your own signs, you can put them out. It has some parking tips and it has some other things. Now, if you go down to where it says registration form, that's where you fill it out, which is right below where it was just clicked. But this right here is the map of the city, and each one of those dots is where someone has signed up to have a garage sale at this time. Currently, we have over 50 people who have signed up to have a garage sale, and if you click on one of those, Donna, if you click on one of those, it'll tell you the address of where that is, and it gives you the dates and times when that garage sale will be held. So you can then plan your trip accordingly, either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Now, I will tell you on Saturday, we also have an event here in the city as well at WP Bill Atkinson Park. So people can come out, garage sale in the morning, and go to the event at WP Bill Atkinson Park in the afternoon.
All right, very good. So staff's been
Yes.
working on this diligently since it was approved by council, and 50 people signed up. Hopefully we'll have a whole lot more than that. And
True, and if anybody has any questions on the web page there where the instructions were, there is an email address. You can email any questions, and we have staff monitoring that, and we will answer those as quickly as we can.
and there's no cost.
There is no cost, there's no fee, and it does not count towards your allotted number of garage sales you can have in a given calendar year by ordinance.
And each resident will be responsible for their own signage.
Each resident's responsible for their own signage, that is correct.
All right. Excellent. Looking forward to it. So that's what I need, more stuff in my garage.
You can put it out there on the driveway, and
And then next year I can have my own garage.
there you go.
All right. Labor Day sanitation schedule. So if your regular trash pickup and recycling is on Monday, September 2nd, it will not occur. Please have your recycling and regular trash can out on Wednesday, September 4th. So when we have a holiday, we try to have the pickup on Wednesdays, so that will be the date. National Night Out is October 1st for all the neighborhood associations around town. Looking forward to that. And then also with neighborhood services, volunteers are needed for Restore. Do we have that flyer up, Donna? You don't have it? Okay. Volunteers are needed for Restore Midwest City Paint-a-thon. Join us to revive and refresh 6 homes have been picked out and that by neighborhood services to help work on. Continental breakfast will be provided and lunch will be provided, and community service hours for National Honor Society students will be available for this as well. Contact Barbara Kelton at Neighborhood Initiative Coordinator, 739-1010. Barbara Kelton, or B. Kelton at MidwestCityOK.org. So please come out and volunteer and help us paint 6 houses. The more hands, the lighter the work. So, and then finally, we'd like to offer condolences to Rita Maxwell for passing her mother. So, and with that, Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay. Now we move into our consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so that the council members by unanimous consent can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any council member requests to discuss an item or there is not unanimous consent, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair would entertain a motion to approve.
I do want to pull some items, and I almost tripped getting here to do so. I'd like to pull consent items 4, 5, 7, and 15 for discussion and move to approve the remaining consent items.
4, 5, 7, and 15?
Yes, sir.
And you're making that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I have a motion to approve except for 4, 5, 7, and 15. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. Item number 4, Mr. Lyon.
Yeah, Mayor, give me a second here to catch up. This is discussion, consideration, possible action to accept and approve the annual report for the City of Midwest City Tax Increment Finance Districts for 2023-24. Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
So I'm grateful, and I read the memo on this, and I recognize that there isn't an update, nor is it required for there to be an update on the North Side District TIF. I just know that ever since I was elected, that was an ongoing project, and I just wanted to see if there was a possibility to get a status update on that, and see where things are with that one, please.
Oh, I'll be glad to. The, both projects, the American Glass Incorporated facility and the Centralium Protein facility should be online by spring. In fact, we think it'll be much sooner than that. So that would put them on the tax rolls in all likelihood in 2026. We would see the first ad valorem deposits from those that would go toward the tax increment finance district. As far as our work up there, the sanitary sewer improvements are very close to completion. The water improvements for Centralium have just kicked off. Neither of the rail spurs have started, but we expect the Centralium rail spur to probably bid in October. The one that services American Glass through the Soldier Creek Industrial Park will probably be a little bit later than that. We are working on a U.S. Federal Rail Administration grant. You've probably seen in other notes on the agenda that could amount to as much as $3 million. If we're able to successfully quarterback that through, then that would be essentially a deduction from the tax increment finance district, which would allow it to go back on the tax rolls faster.
Just as a matter of education, so would it be just the new businesses that came in that would have to contribute towards the TIF, or would existing businesses also, are we gonna have some money rolling in from what's already there?
Nobody actually contributes to the TIF per se. They pay tax. The American Glass and Centralium will pay ad valorem taxes, real and personal property taxes, just as they would anyway, and it'll be going to the county. The county will take those proceeds above and beyond the base index, which for those properties was 0 because they were publicly owned. So that money will come back to us to service the debt or the money that we paid out to get the public improvement portions of those taken care of. Now, if another new business comes into the district, then that ad valorem would go through that same process. Otherwise, that base assessment from the day the district started will stay the same.
Okay, got it.
So if you own a business down there and you're paying, you're paying $5,000 a year in taxes, you're not gonna see an increase, and the taxing entities would see the same revenue coming in that they always have.
And is the board still meeting? I know, okay, so the board is no longer convening whatsoever.
The board needs to come up with the plan that came back to the council. And that's, now if there had to be an amendment or an adjustment, we would meet again. But so far, there hasn't been an issue. So we have not met since the last time that you guys approved that 40-page document.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. And Vice Mayor, if there is another meeting called, would you raise my awareness to it? I'd like to just notify our residents, because they're public meetings, right? So if somebody in the community wanted to participate, they'd be able to at least be represented, because I don't know if there were many Ward 5 people
Yep,
involved
not a
in that.
problem.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Coleman. Thank you,
Robert,
Vice Mayor.
I don't know if there's going to be a need, is there, or?
Probably not for that. We have more than one TIF oversight board. It's made up of the taxing entities within the tax district where the projects lie. So there was one for Sooner Rose that was slightly different than the one for the Northside Improvement District, which was heavily populated due to the fact that we have a dependent district there, and you have a different tech center, and you have the college is still there, and Oklahoma City Public Schools. So it's a little larger group, but a minor amendment to the TIF can be done by council, but it has to qualify under state statutes. A major amendment like we saw a couple of years back to expand this district and alter another project had to go through the whole system again. But they're public meetings. They're rare, but they're public.
Awesome.
And they don't get scheduled overnight,
Okay.
because to get everybody in the same room it takes a little bit of time.
Well, thank you both
I
so
have a
much.
question for Mr. Coleman. And I'm new at this, so. I do have an estimated date on when some of these things are going to start opening up and hiring people, so we can start getting some of that revenue.
That's a great, yeah, we do. It's probably going to be, I honestly think American Glass could open a little bit faster than Centralium, because American Glass is going to be moving some equipment around and moving some people around versus buying all new. They'll be hiring some, but they'll be moving some people over from Oklahoma City. So, you know, I'm going to be very conservative, but I think they may start doing some hiring before the end of the year. I don't think we'll have rail service to them by the end of the year, but we're trying. With Centralium, you know, they're not that far off, but it's a lot more complicated. The facility itself is a lot more complicated, so probably a little bit later than that.
Centralium will start as smaller, and then they'll expand as they engage the whole operation of that, as we were told on the last tour that we had.
Yeah, Centralium could hire as many as 150 eventually, but they'll start out with probably somewhere close to 100.
And part of those new employees are required to live within the city of Midwest City, right? That was part of the contractual agreement to hire from residents?
We
right?
can't require them to do that, and it's even harder to prove that.
Okay, sorry, so it was the minimum wage thing, right? How much they were paid, or was that?
I think you're thinking back to the Global Turbine Services Agreement, which we were offering a different economic finance incentive if they lived within Oklahoma County versus if they didn't. And that was in there. It was just an added bonus to them.
Okay. If you don't have any more questions, okay, I'll move to approve. Thank you.
Well,
I need a motion to approve.
I'll go anywhere. All these items are yours.
I move to approve, so we need a second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Does she pull 5? You pulled 5, 7?
Yes.
Yeah, they need to be voted on separately, so, discussion, number 5 is discussion, consideration. Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
I had a first and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now, you can go.
All right. Man. Discussion, consideration, and possible action approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Midwest City and Midwest City Economic Development Authority and Midwest City Utilities Authority for the engineering, design, and construction of a rail spur for the Soldier Creek Industrial Park. And I think you answered the questions, but unless there's,
There is one thing I want Robert to do, just very briefly, explain what American Glass is and how we got them, how we basically, they fell in our, from Oklahoma City. And
American Glass makes glass curtain wall assemblies. These are assembled, these are typically used in commercial applications and more recently in high-rise Devon Tower, the refacing of what old people like me know as the Liberty Bank building, the Chase Bank, also the BOK Center in Tulsa and the Cherokee Health Services in Tahlequah. So they cut out a lot of labor by putting the glass and the insulation and the frame together at the plant, and then they expedite it to the job site. Having rail service, which is described on 4, 5, and 6, to the plant's going to cut their cost to ship it both interstate and possibly international if they do anything overseas. It'll allow them to get to Port of Catoosa, and of course water is the cheapest way to ship, so it will open up those doors for them.
And if anybody's seen the BOK Center in Tulsa, that's the kind of glass that they fabricate, and it's really neat looking. And that's gonna be the front door of driving down into Midwest City to have that plant. And those people did volunteer to put in extensive landscaping, correct? To even make it look even better as people.
Well, we're reimbursing them for up to $50,000 worth of landscape improvements within the right-of-way, and we're working on a very unique sign and just trying to make 23rd Street look a little bit better as part of the corridor improvements. We need these memorandum of understandings because it's kind of a unique situation. The Utilities Authority, and I wasn't here when it was decided, but the Utilities Authority owns the Soldier Creek Industrial Park. The Economic Development Authority made those commitments that help us get American Glass here, which also includes the extension of rail through the Soldier Creek Industrial Park, which was always planned, but we didn't really want to encumber that money until we knew we had a user out there, because you have to start maintaining the tracks from day one. And then thirdly, the City of Midwest City is the recipient, will be the recipient, if all goes well, of the U.S. Federal Railroad Administration grant. So the money will be coming into the city, and then it will likely be moved over to the EDA, and then it will be used for paying the contract, or repaying us.
Now, Centrillium is not near as pretty as American Glass, but could, just real short, what happens there?
Centrillium will be a secondary meat processing facility. It's a no-kill facility, so sides of beef will come in frozen. It will be thawed enough to be cut down to more profitable sizes that will mostly be used in restaurants. The byproduct will go out probably in tanker cars for pet foods. Centrillium is an upstart. It's a family-owned business. It's a brand-new business. All employees will not only be new to Midwest City, they'll be new to Oklahoma. And we suspect that facility could come in somewhere $60 to $70 million by the time all is said and done.
And I noticed in one of the additional, I guess, informative documents attached to these two items that this has been, I guess, this conceptualized plan to put rail there was going on since 2012. So is the scope for that area to attract additional businesses that would need access to rail? Is that kind of the hope?
We're very picky about the tenants that we pursue for the Soldier Creek Industrial Park. First, because it it was funded through a U.S. Economic Development Administration grant, partially funded. The U.S. EDA has about $1 million into the park. We probably got almost twice that by now, or at least we'll have 4 times that by the time the rail's finished. So the whole point of the park was job creation and trying to target jobs that pay above the metro average wage. If they have rail, that's great. It will greatly please our friends at the Arkansas-Oklahoma Railway, which get paid by the car. But we're not specifically targeting just rail. We want the highest concentration of jobs per acre that we can get, and we don't pursue anyone that pays wages less than what the metro average is.
So, and I have these questions and they're related to item 5 and 7. I'll ask them and, you know, we can, I guess, move through both of the items quickly. Does the city currently own any other portions of the railroad or rail spur, like that, as in, I guess we don't own it, but it falls within the jurisdiction or land that we own within its jurisdiction, or is this the first time we're endeavoring into these types of operations?
To my knowledge, this is the first time we've gotten into railroad, and we will own what they call the industry track, which extends from outside the Union Pacific right-of-way all the way to the terminus at the end of the track. That will be the city's track. And we will later enter into some kind of maintenance agreement with AOK to inspect it and take care of it, but I don't anticipate that being a great expense, especially given the fact that it's a low-speed track. It can't have any more weight on it than what the main line will bear, and it's going to be brand new.
Okay. And we don't make any money. So for example, if people are using that patch of land on the railway, they don't pay any fines or fees to our city for utilizing that. Okay. And so my concern with this item really was the maintenance and operations, particularly in Clause B, which places a lot of the costly maintenance, and you believe that it won't be high, but responsibility on the shoulders of the city. And then my question was like, can we afford this since we don't have any experience endeavoring into these types of issues? And then, yeah. But your understanding is that it's not going to be...
It's going to be a half of a mile of new track with one user on it that probably will be at speeds of less than 25 miles per hour. So I don't anticipate a great deal of maintenance on it. If at the end of that we had a real glass manufacturer using silica sand, then we could be in for some maintenance costs, yes.
Yeah. And then our understanding is right now, we're building this railroad mainly because of the contractual agreement we made with American Glass. And then we are also required to maintain a $2 million insurance policy. Do we know what that's going to cost annually?
Which insurance policy is
It's actually a self-insurance policy.
For the
We're
rail?
self-insured for
Yeah.
$2 million.
Well, what are we going to have to pay for the policy, though? There would be a cost.
We're self-insured, we don't pay anything. We charge those back to the department, so I use an actuary to look at costs, but it's an internal cost. So we have a $250,000 deductible.
So it will come from the department's budget,
Yeah.
already embedded in
That's
there?
correct.
Okay.
There would be a cost to the department, I mean, it's all internal money is the good thing.
Yeah.
Up to $250,000.
Awesome. And those were my questions on 5 and 7, and I know you said we have to vote on them separately.
Yeah.
I'm really ecstatic to see both of these businesses come in, and I'm hopeful that the job thing will work out. I think I would have been more bought into the concept of taking on the financial responsibilities because it is our first time. I don't believe it's a core government service. And because we only have one business that needs it, I feel like shouldn't have been something we should have agreed on to in the original contract, but it is what it is. It's within the contract. So I'd like to vote no on this. So if somebody else wants to move to approve
Let me
that.
tell you, we would not have Centrillium, nor would we have American Glass without the railroad.
Well, Centrillium is going to own and maintain its own line, and it'll be one user on one line.
Yeah.
The rail through Skip was always part of the plan. When we presented the plat, it was already on the plat. We want to control that rail spur. we want to be in control of who has access to it. Yes, we want the most users possible, but that is one more use control we have within that industrial park.
Yeah, I respect that, and I understand your reasonings for it. I think I would have preferred that the maintenance part would have been carried by American Glass, or that they would partially have to fund the expenditure on the maintenance. That's my concern, not necessarily us agreeing to put a railway through our property.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do a roll call vote, please.
Byrne,
Yes.
Maxwell, Thompson,
Yes.
Banna,
No.
Favors,
Yes.
Dukes.
Yes. That item passes. Item number 7, Mr. Lyons.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve an operating agreement with the Arkansas-Oklahoma Railroad for a railroad track within the Soldier Creek Industrial Park.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Byrne,
Yes.
Maxwell, Thompson,
Yes.
Banna,
No.
Favors.
Yes.
Dukes.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 15, Mr. Lyons.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action approving a resolution amending the 1983 amended agreement creating the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments.
I just pulled this item because I'd like to either abstain. I'm familiar with the organization, but I don't have enough education about the internal charter bylaws, and so I don't know what the implications of the amendments will be to the equity matters of the organization. So I just wanted to abstain, so if someone else
If
wants
you
to-
would, if you'd like to meet with me at some point,
Sure.
I can run you through that, and I can take you out to ACOG and introduce you to everybody, and they're a very integral part of our transportation system, and these amendments to the bylaws are just cleanup from 1983, actually, and bringing them up to speed with state statute. So that's what that is all about. So with that being said,
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Byrne,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Banna,
Abstain.
Favors.
Yes.
Dukes.
Yes. And that clears up our consent agenda. We move into discussion items and a little bit more lighter. Bring before you, of course, the council is responsible for our courts and nominating judges to sit on our courts, and I'm very pleased to bring you, you have received their bios, and very pleased to bring before you Lorenzo Banks. Mr. Banks, you want to come forward as a nominee for one of our judgeships? One of our judges had to resign because of a new job, and the other one is retiring, and so we're bringing on 2 new judges. And Lorenzo came very qualified and is a professor at a law school, and just an all-around nice guy. So I present him to you and ask that you vote to nominate him as one of our new judges.
Discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
I get his resume. I got one. I did not get his. I don't have a problem with your resume from what I hear. I Googled you, but I did not receive it.
I'm sorry you didn't. They were.
And you know that's one of my things.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that.
Okay. Yes, okay, no problem. I would have liked to have read it other than to Google him. Did you find it?
Yeah, it's on the
I only
agenda.
have one attachment. I only have one attachment. No, this
It's
is-
part of the agenda, it's not separate.
I only have it one. Okay, no problem. That's,
Any other questions?
I just have some procedural questions, and Judge Banks, soon to be. Honestly, it's an honor to work with you. I also am very excited to have you here and for your service to our city. I read your resume, and I was really touched by your personal experience as far as seeing the struggles of the inequity that exists within our legal system, folks who can afford attorneys and legal representation, and those who don't, and individuals who take that labor on themselves. But I do have some procedural questions. So this is a contractual job, right? The judges aren't official city employees.
That's correct.
I noticed that the contracts for these positions weren't attached to the agenda. Is there a reason?
I'll have to look to dawn to that. I'm not sure we do that other than through a requisition.
Right, I think we have a salary set, and it's just done through a requisition type process. So there's not an actual physical contract.
Okay. Would you be able to send me some information of, what the duties are, what the pay rank on that
Sure.
is?
And understand, part of the duties will be set by the city manager, because as the agenda memo says, the city manager then sets which dockets or which courts each one of the judges sit on and hear.
Do we have any idea which one?
I don't. Tim and I have not talked about that yet,
Okay.
so I don't have any
I'll tell you
idea.
that.
All right. And then the other question is, with these particular contracts, and I know they're much smaller contracts versus some of the ones the city deals with, do we post these online and have people put in application? I would hate to call it a bid, but put in applications
You mean as
for-
far as, that's a mayor question,
Okay.
the mayor
No,
nominates.
actually, what I did was request that the outgoing judge make some recommendations, and Mr. Banks came highly recommended, and our next candidate as well, who's been a lawyer here in town for quite a while. So, no, it's not an advertised deal, and then I did solicit input from council, but no, we don't advertise it, and it is a part-time position, so.
Well, I just in the future, I'd like to see for us to do a level of outreach. Obviously, the appointment comes from the mayor, given the council approves it, but just so that we're doing our due diligence in case there is someone that we don't know, or some, that the reference doesn't come through.
And that's why I put it out to
Yeah.
ask for input from the council, and
But I mean, on our website, maybe through the Beacon.
I'll have to check with the city attorney,
Awesome.
because that's what he gets paid.
All right, with that, unless anyone else has any questions, I'd like to move approve, and thank you again for your willingness to serve our community.
I do have a comment, Mr. Banks. I believe you were a student when I was the assistant dean at Oklahoma City University School of Law. And I understand that you are one of our distinguished graduates, and so I'm very proud that you are here today standing for this nomination.
Thank you, Councilman. And once again, Lorenzo,
Thanks, Mr. Banks, don't hold him against us, we're pretty okay.
I want to thank you for agreeing to serve our city. I will tell you that
No.
we had to have a conversation, and I had to do some convincing that Midwest City was the place for him to be. I do want to recognize his mom, who's in the audience. Thank you for being here, ma'am. And I think I've got
You had a second.
a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? It's a unanimous vote. Welcome to the city of Midwest City, Lorenzo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was relatively painless. I want to bring the next one up, Joanne Horn, who I've known for a number of years. She has actually served as one of our prosecutors for a little while. I do want to point out she will be the first female serving on our bench in the city of Midwest City.
Yep.
And once again, well qualified. She works for a firm here in Midwest City and does a lot of good work. And so I present to you Ms. Horn, and you can feel free to ask any questions, or we can just move to approve.
Thank you for leading us forward in this city by being the first woman to take the bench. That's awesome. Thank you for your
Takes a
willingness.
nomination to do that.
Yeah, obviously.
I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Welcome to the bench. Thank you. That was one of the easiest ones we've done in a while.
In one night.
Try some.
Okay, we'll move into discussion item number 3. Mr. Lyon.
Discussion, consideration of possible action to enter into a professional services agreement with Freeze Nichols, Inc. in the amount to not to exceed $350,000, prepare a comprehensive plan for the City of Midwest City consistent with standards, procedures, and best management practices in Oklahoma. It's Mr. Summers.
Thank you. Yeah, as the agenda item says, we are looking to update the comprehensive plan. For those of you who may not be aware, our comprehensive plan was last updated in 2008. It has been some time, and it is well in need of updates. We did go through a two-step RFQ and RFP process to select a consultant. For those of you who may not know what that process looks like, we did advertise our RFQ. We published it in the Journal Record. We published it on the city website, and we did send it to an email list that we created of firms that had done work with the city in the past, and other firms that we had found, using internet searches and word of mouth about engineering firms firms that have planning services in the Oklahoma area. Once we got qualification statements from those firms, we vetted that they were all qualified, and then those 4 firms that responded to that, we sent the request for proposals to those firms. All 4 firms responded back. We did interviews with a panel of 5 employees and scored them on the same criteria that are listed here in the memo. Freeze and Nichols was the highest scoring firm out of that group of 4, so they were the ones that we began negotiations with for this agreement.
Any further questions of
Is
Ms.
somebody
Summers?
from Freeze Nichols here?
Yes, Ms. Warwick is here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, a couple of questions I know. One, my colleague who's ill tonight would ask, there's a time limit on when this has to be done, right? We're looking at 14 months, is that what the contract says?
The contract is for 14 months, yes, sir.
Okay. Freeze Nichols has several different kind of groups that they work on. They work on wastewater, stormwater, but your particular is on the comprehensive plan, right?
Yes, sir. I should introduce myself. My name's Dawn Warwick. I'm an urban planner. I work out of our Tulsa office. We have 4 urban planners in the state of Oklahoma, as well as additional urban planners in a couple other locations that would support this particular project. We don't typically utilize our engineers extensively for comprehensive plans because they are higher level planning activities. We do engage them if there are technical questions or issues that would help to support the planning process, but this is a different group than those that are working on other active contracts.
Okay, I read in the contract that there's going to be outreach to the community, correct?
Correct.
That's done with a survey and then with a web page, right?
We will have a project website. It will be the location that we launch online surveys. We will also have in-person community events. The way that it is currently scoped, we'll have 2 in-person events at least, and also at least 2 online events to engage the community, inform them about the project, and collect feedback.
I probably shouldn't ask this because hopefully the answer is yes. Are you familiar with Envision Stillwater?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the project manager for that.
Well, that's good because Envision Stillwater is, I know it's Stillwater, man.
I'll forgive you.
Okay. I got online and looked, and that's pretty neat what you're doing up there. I've got the PDF file and the survey, and if ours is comparable to that, and I challenge y'all to get on there and look for it. It's an Envision Stillwater. That's the kind of product that we can expect here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Same team.
And the comprehensive plan is our guidebook for future development, correct? And it brings in, encompasses all current construction methods and methodologies and current methods of construction and different materials as well, correct?
It doesn't get to the level of detail to sort of cite specific methods or materials. It is a high-level policy document that provides guidance to basically all of the different components of the city to help guide growth and development in the manner that the community wants to see the city grow. So that's where the community engagement comes in. But it will speak to current activities as well as the needs based upon population projections and anticipated growth in economic development as well as population.
And there will be community involvement in that
Yes, sir.
process as well.
Correct.
Chair to entertain a motion to
Well,
approve.
I have one question.
Okay.
In 14 months, we've got a comprehensive plan that you have written for us or helped us. Under what circumstances do you believe we should deviate from that comprehensive plan?
I think that the comprehensive plan being a policy guide is intended to be somewhat flexible, but it does reflect the community's vision and you want to adhere to that to the extent possible. The things that would, in my mind, cause you to deviate from the comprehensive plan are significant changes. Maybe there is a new employer that was not anticipated and that changes the dynamics of a certain area of the community. Other types of infrastructure that what you're looking for are things that were not anticipated and sort of factored into that planning process. And those are the things that I would say it needs to, you need to take a look, maybe make some modifications to that comprehensive plan. Maybe it's just an adjustment to the future land use map, but it could be a policy change as well. And once those changes are in place, then you can kind of move forward and continue to apply the amended plan to future development applications and considerations.
But as an urban planner, we currently have a comprehensive plan. Would you, under what circumstances would you recommend we deviate from that one?
I think your current comprehensive plan is a 2008 plan. I think there have been a lot of societal and community changes in the past decade plus that generally cause the community to think differently about the way it wants to grow. Maybe there are different parts of the community that have grown really well or that have thrived, and other areas of the community that have not seen the type of growth that you anticipated. So those are the types of things that, in my mind, kind of push you in the direction of updating or developing a new plan. Community, the generational changes within the community and your demographic dynamics change as well. And so those are things that your new plan can represent.
Please drive through Ward 5 while you're examining our
Okay.
city. Okay, thank you.
So
It's unfortunate that you have to leave. There was going to be an issue that would have dealt with that very thing.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Well, it's been put off until next month, so maybe you can come back. and-
Oh, the later items.
It's a zoning
I'm
regulation,
interested to see
zoning
what
change
happens.
request, but at any rate, thank you.
Okay.
I was just going to ask one question. How often do you recommend that a city update its comprehensive plan?
That's a good question, and it sometimes varies by the community depending upon how quickly it's growing and changing. Some communities around the Dallas metro area, for instance, they're updating their comp plans every 5 years because their population is advancing so quickly. Most of the communities in our area are not quite as fast growing as the Dallas metro, but generally we recommend that you update your plan every 10 to 15 years. And you should be doing an annual check-in to just make housekeeping amendments and updates, and then a 5-year kind of more intense check to see if you're still on track with regard to the plan recommendations. But a full update or overhaul of the plan, probably 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 if you're not growing very quickly and things haven't changed substantially.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask a question of Tim, and then if no other questions exist, I'll move to approve. And I don't even know if you're involved with that other project, but How much longer do we expect on the citywide sewer study that Freese and Nichols is doing? How much?
Yeah, Brandon would have to ask that, and once again, that's a, go ahead, Brandon. Matt? Hmm?
Public.
Okay.
July
probably.
of '25? Thank you.
I knew they had a date last time, and Friesen Nichols was here and
Yeah.
reported that, but I couldn't.
Thank you.
I'm
That's
Any
it.
further
old. I don't-
questions?
I don't remember like I used to.
Move
Chair to entertain a
approve.
motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you for entertaining our questions. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, as stated earlier, ladies and gentlemen, items 4, 5, and 6 have been tabled and will be brought back to the council next month.
Mr. Mayor, you will need to take formal action to table each one of those.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do that. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. So the chair to entertain a motion to table
I move.
item number 4.
I make a
On-
motion to table item number 4.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Item number 5, same.
I make a motion to table item number 5.
A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
On number
Item
6.
number 6.
Can I ask why that's being tabled? Is there a reason for that? Do we know why? Just I'm curious.
That's the one where the applicant had COVID, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Our applicant came down with COVID over the weekend, and we communicated with, they communicated with us. They've attempted to send out information on that, but yes, our applicant came down with COVID, and we were informed of that on Monday.
Okay, so move to table item number 6.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now we move into new business public discussion. These items, if you signed up to talk to us, we cannot engage in a back and forth conversation with you on these items because they're not agenda items. But if you have a particular issue, we will make note of it and bring it back at a later date. Mr. Young, you had signed up for consent item number 9. If you'd come forward and state your name and address and what you're here for.
Frank Young, 6229 Southeast 8th Street, Midwest City. Good evening, council, mayor, Mr. City Manager, council. I ask that we move cautiously on this measure. In Holloway Park, we've got an existing, is it Boomer Trail?
Yeah, the Boomer Trail.
Boomer Trail that I was actually on the Parks Board way back when in the planning stages of this. And it has become a freeway for transients, homeless, and thieves. It's important to us, so much so that this is Miss Brenda Berger. She's the president of our neighborhood association. We have our vice president, Mr. James Smith, in the audience as well. We felt it important enough to come before you all and just ask you to proceed cautiously with that sidewalk and trail extension. So understand that when that plan went in for the trails and some improvements in our neighborhood, we didn't have the problems that we're facing now. And I'm on the next item line as well to speak, so it all ties in. And I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you got other folks to speak. So if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'll move right into my next line that I signed up for.
Sure.
And that's under new business, and that is the trail over there. We would request a couple of things on that trail. First of all, we need a police presence on it. Brenda's much more versed. She literally lives right on the trail. I mean, her house sits at the corner of Sandra and Arthur. So she sees what's going on. She's asked me to kind of convey that to you. We have bicycle thefts. If you just visit with the police department, I think you'll see a major rise in crime in the last 2 years in our neighborhood. A lot of it's petty crime, things items of convenience left out in the yards come up missing. You know, we're not responsible owners. We leave it out. We can expect it to get stolen. But we're having folks get into backyards, turning on faucets, leaving them on, cutting connections to central air conditioners. We've had a lot of vandalism over there, and I contend, and it would be my point to you, that it's our transients, it's our evildoers, if you will, that use that trail, use the sidewalks as literally a freeway for crime. So as we look at planning and look at improving our neighborhoods, also consider the ne'er-do-well folks that may or may not use that as a convenient pathway for their criminal activity.
What's your address again?
6229 Southeast 8th.
What's the 6229 Southeast 8th?
Yeah.
What's your address?
It's 1021 Arthur Drive. And I spent 11 days on that trail trying to catch a dog. And what I saw on that trail was really disturbing. There was many times that I was fearful for what was coming through the trail. We've had 2 people jumped on that trail. One was shown a weapon. And then since it runs into Quinlan Park, we're having a lot of activity go on at Quinlan Park, and now the residents that live around that surrounding area do not want their children to play at the park because it's just brought a lot of activity. We've had gunfire going off at night because they come through under the tracks that are coming off of Reno through there. So it's really our, during the day, there's a lot of traffic, and they cut through, and then they go over to 5th Street. So now you have a lot of theft going on over in that area. And it just is really making everybody uneasy in our neighborhood with what's going on. During the night, about 9:30 to 2 a.m., it gets really disturbing through that area. I think if we could get some type of patrolling that could go through there, that would slow a lot of that down, because the police presence, you know, will always help benefit with that.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a 4-minute time limit,
You
and
bet.
so you've kind of tag teamed each other. So
She's down at the bottom of the list. She spoke her piece, so
okay, well,
you've
good.
got her information. We're trying to keep
Thank
it
you
short.
for being. Your comments have been duly noted, and
if I could indulge 30 seconds more, for the city manager, over by 3rd Street, there's some construction going on to start the new trail, I guess, extension. There was a bunch of sod laid. That stuff doesn't come cheap. It was never watered. It's dying.
That's right behind Sandra.
Oh, right behind Sandra, I'm sorry. So, okay, thank you all for your time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
y'all.
okay, Miss O'Neill, are you still in the audience? Again, please state your name and address, and you have 4 minutes.
Okay, my name is Lisa O'Neill. My address is 612 Eddy Drive, and I'm here in front of the council to ask you to enforce your own ordinance as it pertains to commercial truck being parked in a residential neighborhood. I have a 39.5-foot long flatbed wrecker truck parked across the street from me. It's a rental property, and it's been a problem for a long time. The truck was in the street for over a year, blocking the westbound lane of Eddy Drive. And I've made contact with police and code enforcement with no progress in having the truck removed. And I'm referring to your ordinance 3378 dated August 13th of 2019, signed by you, Mayor Dukes. And what it says is a commercial truck cannot be longer than 22 feet and must be parked a minimum of 1,000 feet from any structure being used as a residence. So it's in the driveway, and it's 39.5 feet long, and I know that because I measured it. And it's an eyesore. It's dragging down the neighborhood, particularly my house, my property value. And what you need to know about this truck is the driver is not the owner. The truck belongs to Stedham Wrecker Service in Choteau, Oklahoma. They have no presence here in Midwest City, therefore they pay no property tax and no sales tax. I pay both. And so I also have been a resident of the city of Midwest City since 1956. And my presence on Eddy Drive has been since 1959. So I know Eddy Drive better than anybody in this town. And I could make an argument that there shouldn't be any parking at all on Eddy between Sandra and Rue Lane because of the heavy traffic. It's the only way into Bill Atkinson's Ranchettes from Air Depot. It's a very heavily traveled street. So now that the truck is in the driveway, the personal vehicles are in the street, blocking the westbound lane. One of the vehicles has not even so much as been started in over 3 months. And so I would say that the renter across the street from me is basically storing his vehicle in the street. You know, you can only drive one vehicle at a time. He drives a pickup truck when he's not driving the wrecker truck. So I have contacted the owner, Stedham Wrecker Service, about this and told him about a parking facility down on 240 between Bryant and Sunny Lane. And it's for this very thing. It's for people who drive a truck for a living and can't take their rig home. It's gated, it's lighted, security, individual covered stalls. It has all kinds of amenities like showers and that kind of thing. And I contacted him before I reached out to the police and code enforcement and all that because I was trying to deal with the problem myself. And he told me, no thank you, and hung up on me. So I'm here to ask you to please enforce your own ordinance back from 2019. Obviously, it was put in place for a reason. There was a need for it. And for me, there's a need for it now. And particularly, if you look at the mission statement on the web page for code enforcement, we strive to keep our neighborhoods family friendly and our property values up by proactively enforcing the city's municipal codes. And so I respectfully ask that you follow up on this. So.
Thank you, ma'am, and it's duly noted.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Berger, are you still in the audience? Huh?
She spoke earlier.
Oh, okay, we got you. I'm sorry. Is Tim Taylor still in the audience?
I am, but I don't need to talk tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor. All right, that concludes our
Mayor,
public discussion.
there are a few individuals that opted to stay to continue to make public comments on item 6.
I'm sorry? If you want to address council, go ahead and approach the podium. Nobody's...
Thank you, Mayor.
My name is Gina Johnson. It's on there.
Okay, well, I thought you were part of this Northeast 17th bunch. I'm sorry.
I'm part of the Northeast 19th bunch.
Okay.
And I signed up and I stayed.
Okay,
That's how much it means.
okay.
Over on Ward
No,
5.
go ahead and state your name and
My name
address.
is Gina Johnson, 9013 Northeast 19th Street, Oklahoma City.
Okay,
We are the redheaded stepchild of Midwest City, to put it bluntly. We call in about code enforcement, never gets taken care of, ever. I've been told if I didn't like it, to move. Mike Stroh, his words exactly. My code enforcement guy told me when I called in about things going on in our neighborhood, code enforcement violations, that for Ward 5, I shouldn't complain, that it looks pretty good over there. That's, according to the lady who just was in front of me, who's very articulate, that's not the mission statement for Midwest City is, don't complain, it looks pretty good. When the weeds are taller than my head, not pretty good. As far as the place across the street going in that we've tabled until next month, it doesn't fly. It will bring in criminal content. It will bring in more property value that will go down. On one of their statements, it says on number 3 that we will build a high enough fence.
The senior citizens that are behind us, they built a wrought iron fence because it's kept very immaculate. It's very quiet. We didn't complain. We didn't complain when it went in. When you tell me you're going to build up a high enough fence to hide it, that tells me right away that they're not going to take care of it. I'm already tired. Like the lady said, I've lived here forever. I don't get Midwest City schools. I pay Midwest City taxes. We get bused to Oklahoma City. My daughter never stepped foot in the Oklahoma City school. We went to St. Philip Neri, Bishop McGinnis, to keep from it. We paid to not do it. I'm tired, and I won't take it. Not anymore. And I don't think your people should tell us to move. I don't think that's what you want from Midwest City.
No.
I'm a state employee. I pay taxes here. I pay taxes there. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here.
9013 Northeast 19th.
Sir, go ahead and state your name and address.
Darrell Younghammer, 8720 Northeast 17th Street. And first, I'd just like to apologize since we had a bit of a disruption at the beginning of this meeting because a lot of us neighbors really don't understand the procedures and what's going on.
That's quite all right.
Yeah. But I'm here to urge everyone to vote no for this. And one of the funny things was talking about the comprehensive plan. So I purchased my property about 3.5 years ago. And one of the things I looked at was the current comprehensive plan, seeing that everything in my neighborhood around there was R6. And that's what I depended on to when I bought that property, because I wanted to live in a smaller type community. I didn't want to live in a more dense community. So I would like you to consider that when you're going to make your vote, is that a lot of us neighbors, you can tell we have over 36 people that signed the petition against this, and that there's a lot of people in our neighborhood that this would greatly affect their quality of life in this neighborhood if that building, because that building, like the last person was saying, you can't build a fence 45 feet tall to hide that building, because with RHD zoning, they can build their buildings up to 45 feet tall. And to go from R6, jump up 2 zone levels to R high density is a big ask for any builder, because basically what it comes down to is they're looking at cheap single-family residence land that then they can come in, get it upgraded, and be able to make more money off of it. Well, the people that live in the neighborhood and are a part of that neighborhood would like that neighborhood left the same so that we can enjoy it the way that it was when we first moved in there. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to overlook anybody. I thought everybody had left, so thank you for being here. I believe that concludes our public discussion. We do have an executive session attached to this agenda, and I would ask permission to recess and move on to the rest of the agendas. I need a motion to do so.
Motion to recess.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We are now recessed from the Midwest City Council agenda, and I'm calling to order the Midwest City Municipal Authority. We do have a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda, so the trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item or there's not unanimous consent, the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We move into new business public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing or seeing none, we're hereby adjourned, and I call to order the Midwest City Hospital Authority. There, once again, is a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda. Trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item or unanimous consent cannot be received, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We have 2 discussion items on this agenda. The second one does not require any action. Mr. Lyon on the first one.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action of entering into an agreement for construction manager at risk services for Plaza 62 Revitalization District, that's the hospital district, with Willowbrook, Inc., in the amount of 1% of the construction budget and pre-construction phase services and 5% of the total construction cost of work. Mr. Bundy.
Good evening. This contract will help deliver the infrastructure that we're going to put into Plaza 62, which is the hospital district. We're going to start calling it Plaza 62 so that we can make it stick. But construction manager at risk is a delivery method that we haven't done a lot of, but we have done. We did that for the MAC, and we've done it for the Sheraton Hotel
Delta.
and Conference Center. Delta, sorry. Speaking of names that need to be stuck. So what it allows is for a construction manager or a contractor to basically get involved during the design phase and help us through design phase so that they can see possible value. They can anticipate problems that we might see. And then during construction, they come on board and they bid out projects. They help manage it, and they just basically deliver the project.
We use this methodology for very large projects. This is a $20 million plus project. We do not have the staff to manage these internally. They're way too big for us.
Yes.
So CMS, they've done all the schools in Midwest City. They're working at the hospital now, inside the hospital. They're a very well-known company that delivers high-quality work. We went through the RFQ process just like Matt Summers utilized for the comprehensive planners. We did the same thing, and CMS Willowbrook by the team was clear by far the highest rated amongst the staff review.
Willowbrook is the same outfit as the Delta, correct?
Correct.
Yes, CMS, and they built the Reed Center too back in the
Okay.
day.
So,
Not with
and
this
we
site.
had no problems with them during that time, so,
No, and
Right.
we're familiar with their staff. Matt and I went and met with Willowbrook as kind of a kickoff, and we feel very comfortable with the staff, and we're happy to have them as part of the team.
all right.
Any further questions? Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We now move into new business public. We were wondering where you were preaching tonight. We now move into new business public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing or seeing none, I adjourn the hospital authority and call to order the Special Economic Development Authority. Once again, there's a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda. Trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee requests to discuss an item, or if unanimous consent cannot be received, then the item will be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. We now move into public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the authority? Hearing or seeing none, we're hereby adjourned, and I need a motion to reconvene the council.
Still have the utilities.
Still have utilities authority.
Nope. The back page. I call to order the Special Utilities Authority. We have a consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda, so the trustees, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any trustee that requests an item be removed or unanimous consent cannot be received, then the item be removed and heard in regular order. Chair to entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries, and we move into public discussion. Does anyone have anything to bring before the Utilities Authority? Hearing or seeing none, we are hereby adjourned, and I would need a motion to reconvene the council agenda. I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We reconvene the council authority, and we do have an executive session. Mr. Lyons.
2 executive sessions, number 1, discussion and consideration of possible action entering into executive session is allowed under 25 OS 307B2 to discuss negotiations concerning employees and representative of employee groups, and in open session authorizing the city manager to take action as appropriate based on the discussion executive session. And then the second one is discussion, consideration, possible action of entering into executive session is allowed under 25 OS 307B3 to discuss the purchase or appraisal of real property, and in open session authorizing the general manager administrator to take action as appropriate based on discussion executive session.
Chair to entertain a motion to move into the executive session.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the council agenda. I do want to thank you for being here tonight. Again, I want to apologize to the people over on 17th and 19th. Didn't mean to overlook you. Your comments were well received, and we'll see what happens next month. Thank you.